Okay, so we finished having Flash, Arrow, and Supergirl. Ironically, all the seasons were actually pretty good. The second season of Supergirl, since they moved to Canada for most of their shooting, they could not have Calista Flockhart, which drastically increased the overall enjoyment of the whole season. And throwing in Mon-El the Daxam worked really well. I also enjoyed having them be the White Martian, working more with Cyborg, Lena Luthor, bringing back Linda Carter to play the role of the president, and she was Lois Lane. I'm drawing a blank on her actual name in the Lois and Clark, and she was Mon-El's mother, so she was the Queen of Daxam, and Kevin Sorbo was the King of Daxam. Great. They threw in a lot of people make you go, you might be in like your late 30s. Here are people that were really important when you were growing up. You saw them in a bunch of TVs and films. So ending with the massive invasion of Daxam, which I thought was done relatively well, up until Calista Flockhart came back in for the last 2 episodes, and then it just became women can do this. It's like, you do realize that the rest of the season was women doing this. They weren't talking about doing it, they were doing it. Which, ironically, is a much better job than talking about what it is you're going to do, if they just do it. So the last 2 episodes, which have really, really dragged everything down. And I was like, when there's no Calista Flockhart, and it's more action-orientated, and it's showing a woman going out there and just beating the daylights out of enemies, it's great. Having Supergirl beat up a brainwashed Superman, then of him being like, well, you're the guardian of the Earth now, or champion of Earth. I was like, feels very, very much forced. Calista Flockhart talking with Linda Carter, who's the president, talking with, it's going to drive me nuts. I'll just say Lois Lane's Adventures of Lois and Clark. And the fact that they actually talk about, we're women, we should discuss this like women. And I'm like, ugh. Whoever's writing that dialogue is either 1, a really bad feminist, 2, a man who's going, this is what feminism sounds like, right? Just throw in like women and females. Every other line, stuff that word in there. And the way they ended it, having to effectively disperse a small amount of lead into the atmosphere, making it toxic for Daxams. Good. It's a solid series. Having her lose Mon-El, who was someone that she actually had a relationship with, worked. Well, look, that was actually a pretty good season, all things considered. Flash was all about him stopping the future. The revelation of who Savitar was. I like when they throw out it's this. It's totally this. And then revisit and you go, that was good. You flat out told us who the villain is. Right there, like, boom. Oh. I thought there was a comma in that statement. There's not. There's no comma. It's just straight. Gotcha. Throwing a lot more of the villains, having to have him go back into the Legends timeline to bring people out to help him win. And then finally defeating Savitar in a very, very impressive way of doing it. But then ending with him having to be stuck in the Speed Force prison. I was like, oh. So to save his team, he had to lose himself. I'm okay with that. It's just painful enough, but you're like, well, there's a whole bunch of speedsters. They'll find a way to get them out, and it's a nice way to keep the season going without having to feel too dragged out. Okay, it allows all the other characters to get some time to shine. Fine with that. That works well. Arrow. bringing in Prometheus and having Prometheus be super tied into Oliver's backstory, and then having Oliver's 5 years in the past actually sync up with the first season now. And I was like, okay, so now season 6, if he's thinking back, he'll be thinking about things that happened during season 1. Interesting. We might get little tidbits here and there about what happened that might eventually someone actually goes through and chronologically breaks the whole season down. You might find some really interesting, unique Easter eggs and tidbits there. Have him have to push his team away and try to save them, or to have his team get captured in the process. Bringing in Earth 2 Laurel. I liked that. That was a nice little twist, because when she said, "The legend saved me," you're like, oh, that could have happened. Oh, she's the evil one. Okay. She's getting a paycheck. Not bad. Going a lot more into his time in the Russian gang. Okay. Go see Dolph Lundgren. It's good to see him in a role that he's actually really solid at. And of course, you saw Celebrity American Ninja Warrior. You actually did get to see Oliver Queen, Stefan Amal, rock a salmon ladder for charity, which is pretty sweet. Him having to bring back all the surviving villains to fight on the island that he effectively was born on, to battle against this insane villain, was good. Glad they brought back a lot of those old characters. You're like, oh. I like the amount of double crossing in the last 2 episodes. I mean, they threw everything they could at it. They're like, and let's jump that shark. But we're going to jump that shark and do a spinning flip in midair and then land. So we're throwing everything at this season's finale. Only to have Oliver save his son, then lose his team. Maybe. Probably. And I was like, wow. Okay. That's pretty intense. The explosions were cheesy, but I've accepted that. That we're not going to see these amazing, epic things we're expect to see on like the big screen for a CW show, but I was like, man, they're actually all in pretty good places right now. They've buttoned up, well, Supergirl, they buttoned up some loose ends, so some other loose ends, but they kind of went, we're going to do a relatively clean break here, go into the next one. For Flash, it's very much here's your cliffhanger. Okay. Arrow. He might not have a team. How will he handle it on his own? By the way, not a single day. I was like, well? It's like if he fought a guy named Prometheus. He's now a single father. It's like, man, that sounds a lot like Arsenal. He had his own Justice League team. He had a cry for justice. I was like, that was a solid place to end. Because one helped close some doors in Supergirl. The other two are wide open for what they're going to do for the next season, which is good. You just shake things up every now and then. So all in all, happy with where they're at. Legends, I like the fact they didn't do a full season. I think Legends is probably a more expensive show to do, so doing smaller, more contained episodes, again, works well. Them effectively defeating the Legion of Doom to get the Spear of Destiny. Yeah, not bad. Especially the way they found the way to actually destroy Zoom. Not bad. Not bad. For TV-based superheroes. Now, if you think that the shows are horrible, one thing to remember, Heroes had a phenomenal first season. How many seasons did Heroes actually last? Most people actually derided Smallville. Smallville lasted 10 seasons. There's some longevity in these shows. And in a lot of ways, they're a good way of getting certain characters out in front of a larger audience.